Hi, I'm Barry Anderson with Barry Andersen Studios. I just want to make a quick video on how you can do a shoot like Platon. And I was inspired by this portrait. Actually, it's a headshot of Fergie, and I thought it was a fantastic shot. So I wanted to emulate that shot and show you guys what kind of light setup he might have used in order to achieve this shot. Now, this is a video on how to technically achieve this look. I'm not going to go into all the editing techniques necessarily, but this is the very basic setup on how he made this shot in order to make it happen. So my picture won't look exactly like Fergie's picture here. Of course, she looks a lot more stoic and a lot more beautiful than me. So keep that in mind when you're watching this video. It's not a how-to video on how to edit. This isn't a Photoshop video. This isn't a Lightroom video. But I wanted to show you guys how to achieve the soft light using technique and using camera techniques in order to capture what you need in order to go to the next stage, which is to edit. And here we go. So I saw this picture of Fergie by Platon. I thought it was a fantastic example of what a headshot should look like. It's a great portrait, if you want to call it that. It's a beautiful shot, and I wanted to achieve that. So what I'm going to go through first is the again, I'm going through the technique of how to achieve this. So the first thing that I have is my 50mm lens, and in order to get this close to my face without cropping, you can't really do that with a 50mm lens because you won't get it in focus. So another way that I can do that is to get that close with a 50mm lens, I'm going to need some kind of a macro lens attachment. And so you can buy these really cheap online, 4 set for, like it says right here, $8.85. This is off of Amazon. Or you can use tubes. The only thing about extension tubes, and they're equally as cheap, by the way, just about. The only thing about tubes is you have to understand that the light is further away from the front of the lens to the sensor, so you're going to have to expose it for a little bit longer. For that instance, I would recommend spot metering on your camera. But otherwise, if you're going to meter, this is another piece of equipment that's very valuable for just about any photographer. You're going to have this piece. So it doesn't have to be this one exactly, but you're going to need a light meter. This one's the L358, and this one can communicate with the strobe that I was using, and that's why I used it. Excuse me. So another piece of equipment that you're going to need is this transceiver. This transceiver is going to be able to get you to communicate with the strobe unit. Now, of course, for the lighting, you can use a strobe, or you can use continuous light. If you use continuous light with the softbox, you're not going to need this transceiver. Heck, you don't even need the equipment that goes into this light meter in order to communicate with the strobe. So, with that said, here's the setup from the back, from the position of the subject. Here you have the chair. Here you have 2 white panels, and I'll explain that in a second. Here's the strobe unit. This is the ML400 Norman strobe unit. It doesn't have to be that one, but it has to be a strobe unit if you're going to use strobes. And this is a 400-watt strobe, and it's very intense. I actually had to dial it down to about a quarter power, even a little bit more than that. It was just a really bright light. So here's a tripod where I put the 50mm lens with the camera and the macro lens attachment. Got really close to the face, and you can also see the distance between the two. The tripod and the seat is very close, and also the strobe, the softbox is really close to the subject as well. It was even closer than this in this picture depicted. I got it really close. See, you know, that's how you really get the softbox to get that soft lighting on the face. If you have the softbox too far away from the subject, the light gets harsh again. But if you look at this picture, you got really soft light, just like you do in the Fergie picture by Platon on Pinterest, on my Pinterest, which I'm going to link to below the video. So, and by the way, the Fergie picture is actually under contemporary art photography on my Pinterest, so you should check it out. So anyways, back to the setup. The only real difference, so the white panels fill in light from the side, because my head is round and just about everybody else's head is round. So what's gonna happen is, if you have one single light source, even if it's diffused, it's not really gonna wrap around well. The further it goes back, the darker it gets. So especially with somebody with darker hair, you're gonna need a white box, or not a white box, but white panels in order to close to the subject, in order to bounce that light back onto the subject. Now, you can also do the opposite, which you can see in the example of this headshot here. Underneath the chin, you see how dark it is. See how it's isolated. That might be editing too, but I'm talking about technique-wise. You can also bring down the shadow underneath the chin. And of course, in this example, where I shot pictures of myself in the headshot, there was no such shadow underneath, because I didn't use it at the time. But what you can do is, just like the panels, the foam core panels that were spray painted black on these, you can spray paint a smaller panel and stick it underneath the chin. What that's going to do is, it's going to create that shadow underneath the chin, and it's going to make your shot come out better and closer to the result that you want, just like Fergie. Now, like I said, this video isn't really into the editing portion of it. You can see that the colors are a little bit glamorized. The contrast in the hair is increased. I can get more of that look with contrast, increasing the contrast in my picture as well. You can see that that detail starts to kind of pop a little bit in the hair. But of course, I want to maintain the skin details. But anyways, that's another video that somebody else can make, or I'll make in the future, on how to edit the picture to make it look like this. But anyways, this was a I hope you like this I hope you enjoy this video, and I'll see you next time. Please subscribe.